Right, another one of my sort of gardening educational videos. Let's see, what to do with all those cuttings. Right, so like most of us now, you're probably being charged for taking away your garden refuse. This includes cuttings, grass cutting, hedge cuttings. So the two methods are to sort this out so you can reduce it down to near nothing is to reduce, reutilize, compact. So the simplest one for reutilization is this one. You're cutting a hedge and it's next to a lawn. As you can see, what I've done here, I basically leave the cuttings where they are and let them rot down. They're very good mulch for keeping weeds down, and at the same time they give a sort of like a merging between the border of the grass and the hedge. Hedge trimmings, grass cuttings make very good mulch if they're chopped fine. Grass cuttings, obviously, by virtue of the way they are cut, they're pretty fine. So that's fairly. But hedge trimmings, if they've gone through a garden vac machine, something like, oh my god, run back, this beauty here, the bag's off it just now, but you'll recognise it if you've got one of these. That mulches down hedge trimmings beautifully. And at this time of year, your hedge trimmings, there's not that many. Begin the year's hedge trimmings, you need to try and get rid of them, because normally there's quite a lot. Anyway, so that's reuse. Another thing I've done, which I've never done in the past, is I now have a compost corner. Yes, it's at the front of my house, but you can hardly see it because by the time these Budley are finished, I think they're Budley, by the time they're finished, surrounding this will be immersed. Just dig it over every now and then, empty it out, reuse it. Reduce. Well, that's simple enough, especially for grass cuttings. Don't cut your whole lawn. Do like a decorative sort of wildflower area. I find I get a lot of clover and purple clover. It's growing in my garden. Oh, and there's one here you can have a look at. Bonny wee things, and then the bumblebees seem to love them. So we'll leave them to grow. Loads of them here, look at it, there's a forest of them here. So what I do is I leave that to get overgrown, cut the border with a strimmer just to make it look formal a bit, but by the same token, as I say, oh, bonny purple coloured ones here, look. Yeah, you get daisies and buttercups growing through this. Dandelions, dig them out with a screwdriver, because if they spread, they just look a mess. Ah, bonny. I've no idea what this is. I'll have to go and find out. Now, compact. Well, every now and then I'll dig a hole, take out the good soil or bad soil, depending on what comes out of there, and reuse it. And then that hole gets refilled with grass cuttings and hedge trimmings. And that one's nearly full now, but it's taken me, because it rots down and compacts, it's taken me, what, 4 years to get this far? And that's just a fairly small hole. Right, soil can be put in the bottom of your bin, nobody knows. And compact, well, the simplest way to compact is if you've got these old tubs that they used to use for recycling paper and cans, keep them, put your cuttings in there and just leave them outside somewhere where they won't get in your way, and within a week that'll have reduced down to half the size it is now. Keep doing that till you get to the point where it's a quick trip up to the recycling centre to dump them. I find doing this, instead of making maybe 4 or 5 trips a year, I'm lucky if I do 2, along with all the other measures I use, by the way. But yeah, I'm lucky if I do 2 trips in a year. Now I've got 3 of these bins that I use. In case you're wondering, this is my where I also use repurposing of compost. This is old. You can see this is old mulch grass cuttings here. Once they've gone brown, they can go into what I call my composting centre, which is basically red wheelie bin, bricks in the bottom to take the bags up off the bottom so that the compost tea can sit in the bottom, which I use every now and then for watering. And in the meantime, I've got these plastic bags, holes in the bottom to let them drain freely. Snails love it in there. So all the green stuff, all the peelings, all the leaves from my rhubarb go in here, and they get turned into compost. It takes about 2 years. First year they do compost down a fair bit, but I usually finish off composting them by getting them in this bin, and this bin holds compost in the bottom and gardening stuff on the top. I've got a sieve in there, riddle, call what you will, some flower pots, some pots, plastic bags, things like that. Okay, is that the end of it? I think that's the end of it. Potatoes, waiting to see what they do. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for now.